This is justice for Charlie Kirk.
All right, so that employee from Office Depot has been fired. If you're unaware of what I'm talking about, here's a video to catch you up to speed real quick.
For somebody that passed, it's not
It's propaganda. I'm sorry. We don't put that here.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Well, until recently, most college campuses were places that welcome such political leaders and commentators across the spectrum to spark civil discussion and debate on social and political issues.
MTSU Assistant Dean fired over Charlie Kirk's social media comments. Students react. Now, guys, it's still happening. Of course, people are still getting fired because this really hasn't played out fully. Yes, more people are still losing their jobs. And of course, guys, we have our main guy who I've been reacting to there in the middle when it comes to all these firing situations and people saying crazy, atrocious things online. Don't worry, I'm going to press play on that video next. Let's keep watching.
Civility, though, wasn't front and center on social media in the wake of the violence yesterday, with some reactions actually costing people their jobs, including Middle Tennessee State University's Assistant Dean of Students. Our Aaron Cantrell spent the day at his alma mater talking with students about that firing and the tragedy.
As one of Tennessee's largest universities, MTSU frequently welcomes guest speakers to campus.
Dr. Fauci should be in prison for what he did over the last year.
Having children is more important than having a good career. Sometimes controversial ones, like Charlie Kirk.
Even though he was very pro Second Amendment right, that doesn't mean he should have died at the hand of a gun.
They have to understand that this was a man with a family. There was more to him than just being a conservative.
For students here, his assassination was gut-wrenching to watch unfold.
There were so many people around it that had to witness that and had to, live with that now.
I'm very disgusted, disheartened.
At the same time, it's fueled even more debate.
I understand he was like a big figure, but also had the same energy towards school shootings, I think.
MTSU President Sidney McPhee says differences of opinion and freedom of expression are encouraged among students. But for staff members, public employees, he says trust is essential. That's why McPhee says the university fired its assistant dean of students after she posted a Facebook comment many felt compromised her ability to remain fair and even-handed. These students say they still plan to speak their minds, hoping their voices can help shape a more respectful climate.
All right, guys, there's my famous sound effect. There, it's back. Listen, seeing me react to the videos I've been reacting to, and I'm talking to the people who've been watching my channel for a while. There's a lot of longtime subscribers who've been watching my channel for a while. I'm sure you can tell because someone asked, hey, man, I don't get why you're spending so much time on this. You would think that I'm one of Charlie Kirk's #1 fans, but as soon as you look at my past content, you would soon realize that, yes, I've reacted to some videos, but in no ways was I ever a super fan. In fact, this is the longest time I've ever spent on a topic this year. The truth is I am disturbed. I'm disturbed that I have to, and I'm just being honest with you guys, as somebody who at this moment in my life would not call myself a Democrat or Republican, I am disturbed that I have to go on the rest of my life living my life. And that's really not a big deal because not much is going to change. It's the way I view people, right? I have to keep on doing what I do and going through life with the new awareness that there's a large group of people that exists that not only celebrates as if that's not bad enough, but also is actively calling for violence. I know this has happened to a small degree, radical people on either side, but in my lifetime, I've never personally seen it exist to this degree. And it's changed the way I look at things. It's like putting a pair of glasses on. It's changed the way I view teachers. Yes, it's definitely changed the way I look at the education system. As a father and as a husband, it has definitely made me lean more in my faith, but it's changed a lot. It's changed a lot. More on that later. Let's go ahead and check out this video in the middle here. This is important.
This is justice for Charlie Kirk, and this is my message to you. I came across this post from Charlie, and it gave me a moment of reflection, a moment that I had been avoiding. And if I'm being completely honest, from the very first video that I posted up until the one that I posted yesterday, I've been telling my wife I have this heaviness in my heart. And yesterday, I finally, right before bed, I finally confessed something to her that I had not said out loud. And I told her, why do I feel this way? Why is it that even after me trying to advocate for justice,
Right.
for cruel individuals, that it's not that you can't have an opinion, but because there's got to be morals. There's got to be a right and wrong. There's got to be what you should do and what you shouldn't do.
Right.
And I told her, and I would think that after gaining the following that I've gained, after reaching so many millions of people, that I would feel accomplished, that
Right.
I would feel job well done. And I told her, I feel the opposite. I feel unaccomplished. I feel empty. I don't know. There's just this heaviness in my heart that I can't shake. And that's when I come across that post from Charlie, and it hits me. I have never advocated for violence. I have never advocated for death threats made at people. I've never advocated for that.
Right.
This heaviness in my heart made me reflect on something. And I asked myself this question, and that is what broke me. Would what I'm doing make Charlie proud? What we are doing make Charlie proud? And as much as I wanted to find a reason that he would applaud this, I couldn't find one. So for that reason, from this day forward, I'm going to be changing some tactics, going to be changing some ways as we continue to pursue justice for the voice that was silenced. I just ask you, with all of my heart, for those of you that have taken what I have posted, what I have researched, you've taken it to the extreme. I have said multiple times in my videos that I do not advocate for violence.
Let me explain to you guys why it's important. And by the way, I have to give him props. It's not easy to get on camera and say, hey, you know what? This direction we're going, okay, things might be getting out of hand. Let me tell you why I believe he's doing this, because I've actually seen this. What's happening is that people online now, this is a trend that's very popular, by the way. Let's say I create this video and I publish it. Some people do what's called commentary reaction type of content. That's pretty much the type of content I've done for the past 5 years. And I'll have some instances where I'll just share my thoughts, and they won't be a video I'm reacting to and giving my commentary to, right? Some people recently, though, are taking videos like this. So like his video here, changing the background and chopping up that video to either dramatize. I don't know if that's a word. It's probably a word. Or they will actually take out disclaimers, right? So in all his videos, he would say, you know, we're not for violence. I'm not for violence, blah, 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 blah. They just take that out. And now people who may be for that, or people who are listening to him saying, hey, are you calling for these people to get hurt? They may misunderstand what exactly is being said. And I know there are people out here who are thinking to themselves, well, if there are people out there calling for violence and they think words mean violence and they want more of that, then they have to be stopped and so on and so forth. To that, I assure you that the people out here who are calling for this and are literally unhinged are their own worst enemy.
Engaged or soon-to-be married men, getting a prenup doesn't have to be confusing. At fathershaverights.com, we break everything down in plain, simple English so you feel in control from day one. Here's one of our 5-star reviews from Logan. I didn't know much about prenups before, but the way everything was explained made it easy to understand. It didn't feel overwhelming or super legal heavy. It was just real advice that actually made sense. I feel way more secure going into marriage now. Grab the guide for the price of a couple of dinner dates by clicking the pinned link in the comments and join the hundreds of future husbands securing their marriages the right way.
And yes, I do agree with the sentiment of forgiveness. I have to forgive because I can't. When I tell you guys I'm disturbed, and I've been disturbed for the past, this isn't my regular content. I've pretty much focused on this. Regularly, I'm talking about dating and relationships and marriage from a male perspective, men who value more traditional values, helping men avoid feminist women who are probably liberal, yes, who probably cheer to this as well, helping men protect themselves when it comes to marriage legally, agreement, a contract, unfortunately with states that don't have your best interest in mind, and profit from failed marriages, so on and so forth, discouraging broken homes, encouraging present fathers, strong fathers within the homes. But yeah, I definitely get where he's coming from here. I've seen people who are misusing his content without the proper disclaimers. And in the end, after God has given you the strength to forgive and move on and not hold that anger within you, then the scripture says that vengeance is the Lord's, right? So this was eye-opening to me as well. Let's keep listening.
And I do not advocate for people receiving threats at their lives. That is not the message that I teach to you. That's not the message that I talk to you about. That has never been my intention, because then we fall into the category of the people that we are advocating against. And that's not what I want to be a part of. We will still be advocating for justice, but we will be using different measures. And for all of you that have shown your support, I am extremely grateful. And we will continue to advocate for Charlie's voice, but we will be doing this in a whole different way. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your guys' engagement, but it will be from this moment forward more in direct alignment with what Charlie Kirk would do.
Again, guys, I know, because I'm going to get a lot of people going to ask me, where can we find him? Where I've been able to find him is TikTok. Right here is his handle. I have not found a YouTube channel. I have not found a YouTube. Hey, babe. All right, 1 second, guys. I just got interrupted. My wife just asked me to open a very tight container for her here. This is why I need a man in your life. This is why I need a real man in your life. Yes. There you go. Oh, man. Yeah, guys, I'm back to my original setup, back to the sounds. The coffee pot is back in full swing. But yes, go check him out. Show him some support. I also heard that there are people who are like deleting accounts of people who are speaking out, you know, against people's reactions, so on and so forth. I don't know. There's a lot going on. Let's read a few of these comments, see what the people have to say. Top comment here says, I went to church today for the first time in years. Wow. Wow. There's a lot of this too. A lot of this too. Amen. Shout out to that. Here's somebody else who says, Romans 12:19, do not take vengeance, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written. You know, I like that, leave room. You know, they're like, hey, you did something there, but leave some room for God. He's going to leave some room for God. Went on to say, to avenge, I will repay, saith the Lord. Proverbs 20:22. Do not say, I'll pay you back for this wrong. Wait for the Lord, and he will avenge you. Matthew 5:38-39. You have heard that it was said, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That's Jesus himself. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other side also. Here's another person who says, I cried for 2 days. I've never cried that long. It hurts and still does. Another person who says, we can forgive, but justice still needs to be done, and the enemy should not go without justice. Here's how I see this whole thing. I think I would encourage everybody to, instead of focusing outwardly, spend some time focusing on your own personal life. This is my personal opinion. I am realizing that most people think this whole situation, everything that's happened so far, is not a big deal, right? They do not understand the gravity of the situation. And I can't change how other people feel about this whole situation. It is what it is. At the end of the day, the question I have is, how did you get to the point where you're celebrating this, okay with this, and calling for violence? This would be wrong on either end. How do I not become that is the question I have for myself. Is a question I think a lot of people need to ask themselves. How do I not fully become just filled with complete disdain to the point where I'm wishing death on other people? And yes, how can I learn to forgive? Justice, either way, will come through, and different people are convicted differently. You know, there are people who believe, hey, I'm shining a light on what's evil. You may disagree with them. The good news is you don't think they should die. Right? And that's all I hope that we all come to the conclusion, is that people's words don't give you free rein to physically harm them or call for more violence. And if anything, as one of the most imperfect Christians they probably are, I'm grateful that this situation increased my faith in Jesus. That's what I'm going to say about that. Now, for people who are wondering, will I continue making videos that are along the lines of topics that just surround exposing other people? Probably not. However, I for sure will be crossing over into issues that now concern me. Issues about how our children, for those who are young parents, those people who have kids, how are they being taught in these schools where you see these teachers who are highly liberal and continue to encourage this? I remember I released a video not too long ago about a non-binary teacher in a school. And recently I thought to myself, if anything, if you're a parent, this has showed you how careful you have to be, how deliberate you have to be to make sure that children that you're raising are being raised with the same principles and values which you uphold. And it's okay if they're different from mine. You're allowed to choose.
So I used to consider myself, I didn't really believe in labels, but I used to consider myself basically a leftist, if you will. And I've seen clips of Charlie Kirk. I never listened to them. I thought he was ignorant. I thought he was racist and said a bunch of stupid shit. So whenever I saw the news articles saying that Charlie Kirk had been shot, I was like, damn, that's crazy. And I didn't have any feelings, positive or negative, about it. I was just like, wow, that's kind of nuts. Okay, and then an hour later, maybe not even an hour, like 20 minutes later, all of these videos came out. The graphic videos. So I'm sitting there watching the videos of this man getting blasted in the neck, and I basically felt like I had a reset in my brain. I lost all premeditated opinions that I had about him, and basically I was watching a human being being murdered and watching them die on camera. And I couldn't see it as anything but a human being being murdered. And it was really fucking, it was crazy to watch. I kept seeing it in my head over and over and over. I couldn't sleep that night. I woke up at 5 a.m. the next day, not able to sleep, but it's all I could think about. And then you started to see all of the videos and posts of people you grew up with basically celebrating this, making memes about it, making jokes about this man getting shot in the fucking neck because he disagreed with them, or, if they were gay, that he was hateful towards them. I used to be gay. And like I said, I never liked Charlie Kirk. I didn't listen to him. But when you see somebody be fucking shot in the neck, that is supposed to make you feel upset. It's supposed to make you feel, you're supposed to have human emotions about that. And I don't give a shit about if he was a bad person, you didn't like him, so you shouldn't have to feel empathy for him. That's, you have your own opinions, but, that's kind of nuts to me. To see somebody get fucking murdered and you don't care, you don't have a feeling about it. I have had a complete, mindset change. It's insane to me how quickly I have went from agreeing with all of this leftist shit, and now I've switched sides. I don't want to, put labels on things, but, I can see things, I feel like, for what they are now. That man was not hateful, and I went back and I've watched his videos. I've seen people of color dissect his videos because I wanted to basically see what this man was about. I watched him die. I should at least give him the fucking chance to hear him speak, right? I just can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I can't associate with the people who are celebrating this death like it's a good thing. A man being murdered and assassinated will never benefit the world. And I have seen so many people are shifting. They're shifting the way they think. They're shifting political parties, whatever the fuck. It's not, those people that are celebrating that, they are not, something is wrong with them. Something, you should have a fucking human reaction to seeing that shit.
I tried to tell you guys. I posted a video on Wednesday that said, you're going to lose your job tomorrow, doo-da. And because of what you posted on social media, because somebody was killed for their words, you're going to be fired for your words because you were posting such vile things about somebody dying. And the amount of nurses and teachers I have seen, oh my gosh, it was pounded into me in nursing school. What you post on social media matters. I had to sign a contract with my job about what I post on social media. I am just shocked at the stupidity of some people. I'll refer to nurses only because that's what I am. Who is going to trust you to take care of them if they walk into the hospital with an American flag on their shirt or a MAGA hat or anything like that? Nobody's going to hire you. You are going to be such a liability now. Your social media footprint is going to follow you for the rest of your life. Nobody's going to want you taking care of their patients for fear that your hatred for one man and the happiness that he died is going to interfere with your ability to do a good job and take care of a patient, no matter what their beliefs. Tried to tell you, FAFO, I guess.
Hey guys, I haven't made videos like this, but I just got let go from the University of Florida as an employee. They didn't tell me why. There's all sorts of things I have to do now. But in the meantime, while I'm looking for a new job, there will be some more sim racing content, it looks like, and possibly even more Japanese content while I go to class. Stay tuned.
American Airlines just grounded a flight because one of their pilots, Steve Holmes, who is responsible for flying Americans and keeping American families safe 30,000 feet up in the sky, came out and said this about Charlie Kirk. Now, shout out to American Air because they came out immediately, condemned the violence, and even grounded the flight, and officially removed the service pilot who was celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.